So my channel's not much of anything. Just started building Lego sets when during the pandemic to kill some time and formed a little bit of a habit. They have a slight problem, but either way, I thought I'd share the building process with people. And I'm by no means the fastest builder or the neatest builder, so I don't know how interesting it will be. This will give us a chance to share some of these Lego builds with people. Maybe it'll help get a few more people interested in Legos, and also they'll get to see some of the sets being built, give you a general idea of like difficulty. So I'm starting out with a poly bag, and you can buy these little poly bags on their own, but a lot of times if you go to like a Lego store or Lego online, they'll have some deal where you spend like $85, you get a poly bag, or $35, you get a bag. And then you'll get this a little set like this. This one's like 40 pieces. I forget what I had to buy to get this, but I got it. Maybe this was even something that I bought on its own. Wasn't a price, but I'm not sure. So, in general, Lego instructions will start with you see the little guy, you build a guy first, or a girl, or something else. Little minifig will be built first. And this guy only has one side to his head. Some of the guys will have two. And let's see, put his helmet on, put the visor on. All right, looks ready to fly his helicopter. So we'll set him to the side. See? And then, so the polybags aren't too large, which makes them really easy to deal with. You don't really need any system to organize the Legos inside of it. This build will be done in like a very short, like just a few minutes. But of course, there's much larger Lego sets, and I wanted to start off with small sets for my first couple times on stream, just so I can get feel for what I'm doing and you know have something that's easy to get into rather than some giant multi-thousand piece set that will take hours, if not days, to build. And who knows if people want to sit through all that or if I'll be, kind of mumbling my way through or stumbling and people won't know what to do with that. So this allows both me and like everybody else to get kind of comfortable in the format and somehow figure out a way to just keep talking for hours on end with what will probably be like little to no interaction, you know, because I mean, if you're going to stream, a lot of times nobody will be talking to you, which is fine. I mean, if you stream and you want to be famous, that's of course fine too. But if you're gonna do that, you'll gotta realize that it'll be a while before maybe you even get your first sub or first person to watch your gaming. And I think obviously most people on Twitch are gonna be gaming. So I don't know about the audience for Lego builds. Although, I mean, I'm constantly surprised at the audiences that there are for things like I remember one of the big channels for a while. I don't know if it still is. One guy just filmed himself studying, or someone's filmed themselves sleeping, and I guess a lot of things help people relax or see that other people share the same interest or just do something similar to them. And see, messed up, but luckily this is such a small build that any accident I have is so easy to fix. And so I'm usually a lot more careful about how I put these together so I don't have to like mess up a step and then go back 13 steps and fix it. This one is almost finished. Let's see, little helicopter. It's done. Oh, look. So this is one of the neat features that they produced for modern Lego sets. So, I mean, if you have any modern Lego sets, you've probably seen it. But if you're someone that played with them when you're a lot younger, you won't have seen stuff like this. They have little things that can actually shoot. I don't know how well that my video camera will catch up on it, but yeah, I don't know. So that's something that you can get your kids and they can annoy people with. There's some really good playability in some of these sets. Obviously, since this is just a little cheap set polybag thing, it's has limited playability and functionality. But I think, you know, if you're a kid, at least when I was a kid, I would have liked something like this because it's really, it's like you have something that shoots. It spins around. Of course, you always want some of the more complex stuff. Like I remember I had a really big rescue copter thing when I was a kid. I wonder if I can rebuild it. We'll see. Maybe if I have the time, I can sort through my old Legos and find the parts for it. So there is my first build of the day, which was the polybag number 305 30566. Kind of hard to see. There we go. Focus on that. And I'll put him off to the side and I'll just start the next one. So instead of Lego City, this one's a Ninjago one. I do remember buying a bunch of Ninjago sets to get this, and then later I rebought some of the same sets because I had forgotten I bought them. But there's Lloyd on a quad bike, and I'm gonna say at first when I saw some of the Ninjago stuff, I didn't like it, but there's a few of them inside the set that I really like. So, and especially the Ninjago pieces that I are sets that I like the most are going to be the Ninjago City Dock and Ninjago City Gardens, but that is not what we're building. We're just building a little Ninjago thing. If you like the Ninjago sets, I'd also suggest looking at the the Monkey Kid set because I think that's looks really cool and kind of feels like a similar universe. And just like I was talking about earlier, Lloyd has two faces on this one. So he can look like angry Lloyd or I don't know, disconcerted Lloyd. Doesn't look happy. Doesn't look angry. I don't know what he's trying to go for there. I'll put on his hair. And there we go, legs. Now this one has a lot of detail. Looking good. Mm. Can't help but notice it's kind of dark. Wonder if I should turn up my ISO a bit. Will I lose detail? Let's see. Probably need a little bit better setup. Like, I don't know. Get some soft lighting or just more lighting in general. Kind of hard to deal with on this. Because you don't want the direct lighting because when you put it directly on, it seems to be washing out like the image a lot. So that's something I'll have to play with over time. And one of my favorite things to do is kind of look back on YouTubers stuff where they have old videos and you just see the video quality is terrible because let's face it, most of us just are not like pros at cinematography or anything like that. And there's tips and tricks and all that that you can do to be like better your situation there. Let's see. Those are the same one. Here we go. So Lloyd's little quad bike only has 43 pieces in this one. And each set that I'm going to build today will be progressively larger until it gets reached the largest one, which is about 155 second. Sounds like someone knocking on the wall. That's weird. Weird. All right. I feel like the place that's most in focus is the of the table, which isn't so bad, I guess. Like there's a better way to do this. I have no idea if that knocking is coming through the stream, but it's kind of weird. Maybe it's one of the kids next door. Sounds like they have like really young kids, maybe toddlers or something. So every once in a while, they're gonna, act up as all kids do. So that's okay. Here we go. This build is going really easily. I mean, I know some people kind of have a thing against the modern Legos if they were raised on older Legos. I've heard things like bags are too organized. I don't like looking through them. But I remember when you'd have sets of hundreds and hundreds of Legos back in the day, and it was so impossible to find anything. You have to search through your huge pile of Legos and then try and find the one piece you were looking for. Then you go to the next one. But modern large sets have multiple bags. Of course, you haven't seen this so far here because I'm just doing the poly bags. So that only, I mean, it looks just like the originals. But trust me when I say it is so much nicer, at least to me, to have some organization in the bags. Also, I feel like, I don't know, the instructions are better written for these larger sets. I mean, for these sets, it's kind of like that. Although I have noticed some differences keep popping up. Like, I don't know if it's the modern sets that don't do it anymore or the old sets, but there's a period where the items would be, if there's, what would I, like when you get to a new step, all the new bricks are outlined in red, so you can tell where you're supposed to be putting the bricks. And I mean, it sounds maybe a little too easy, but if you have something like building the large Millennium Falcon, the Ultimate Collector's Edition one with nearly 8,000 pieces, and you have a lot of gray in there, you might get to a new step in without an outline, just kind of wondering what was added, what changed in between steps sometimes. Here we go. There's Lloyd. Yes, I should put this thing up. Oh, and there's always like little extras. I usually put them in a bag, but I didn't grab one so far. So, go, Lloyd. His little ATV, quad wheeler. See, that turns out autofocus killing me. I'll have to work on that tracking of the autofocus. That was Lloyd's ATV. It was given away as a promo. Might be able to buy it sometimes. They sell them too. And I mean, there's always the aftermarket, but I try not to encourage the aftermarket sell of things just because the they scalp the insane prices really. Lloyd's was 30539, and let's try on the next one that I have prepared. This one perhaps not as interesting. It was a giveaway during Easter, number 30579, and it says Easter chick egg. So we got 52 pieces. We're slowly increasing the number of pieces. Slowly. There's still so few pieces that organization's not really an issue. Let's see. Now we start. Some of these aren't quite, I guess, as interesting, but they can make nice decorations, especially if you're making large Lego cities or something. It's nice to have random things, at least I think, to like add flair to it. And I mean, for me, I have so many Legos that kind of feel like any like little thing that kind of breaks it up, it makes it look different, is interesting. I don't know what I'll do with all my Legos. I mean, I feel like I met a couple once in, they were a bit older, and I guess they must have been collecting Legos for forever. They had a storage locker for all their extra Legos. I feel like if I ever get to that point, I'll feel a bit sad because that means I'll have to start breaking down Legos that I built or Lego sets that I built and all that and putting them away where you can't really see them. It kind of feels like, for me, it defeats the point because I want to, and I build not just to build, but to have like a little display model, something be like, look, isn't this cool? Or look at what we can do. We can play with that. Although, to be honest, I don't really play with the Legos much anymore. Like, I'll build them, take a few pictures, maybe play a little, and then they just go away. This one? Yes. Oh, little googly eye. These used to like only show up in Duplo sets. Looks a little weird. What's the pink? The this this here? Oh, I see. We're gonna get the other googly eye, put it on the other side. Right there we go. And here. So if you're watching this, you probably think, man, does it really take that long to build such a small set? I'm going to say it probably shouldn't take you this long to build anything. And it's not just like I'm building slow because I'm distracted or something. I always build slow. I don't know. Like to take the time to enjoy it, I guess, or sport of it. Let's see. feel like I could fix his eye a little wonky. Do do do. Oh no, eye. Top more. Here we go. Okay. See. Now we added his face. Blue dot to the center. We're giving him a little cap, huh? Reminds me of like a little I don't know what those masks are called, but just watched I mean, not just watched, but if you've ever seen the anime Demon Slayer, there's the swordsman or the swordsmiths or the mask, and there's the one swordsmith that's like kind of sure there's like a Japanese cultural thing that I'm missing there that I don't know about. So fine, I don't know what that is. I feel like I knew at one point or had heard it. I've just forgotten what the masks are called, what they're supposed to represent. Sorry. Okay, like it's right there. Goes here. I don't think the orientation mattered too much for that. Do 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 do. Okay. Put him in here. I think he just sits here. He clicks in. Oh, where that guy clicks. Do, do, do. Pops out of his little egg. Pops back in. There we go. So let's see. And this was Polybag. Set number 30579. As you can see, there's still a bunch of little pieces. And in general rule, just in case you're ever worried about a set, if you have little pieces like these like 1 dot 2 dot 1 dot 1 dot 1 dot 1 piece things, the sets always come with stuff like that. But if you have some bigger piece extra, you may have made a mistake of some type, and you should go back and add that piece in. Maybe. Sometimes the pieces don't matter too much to being in the set. So I like to always go back and figure out where I left a piece out, if I left a piece out. So here's a little train, and I remember this one came during the anniversary of Lego Train's 20th anniversary. Feels like it should be more than 20, but either way, little train that I got, 59 pieces, and here we go. It popped out. The clear piece. You open up the little Fine magazine. Almost there. I mean, these instruction booklets are pretty much nothing when you compare it to the instruction booklets for some of the big sets. And there's some really insane ones, like what was it? Like when I did the Star Destroyer or the Millennium Falcon, they're like giant books. They're really big, and it really becomes a problem because you don't. I mean, you don't have. You need a huge space to work on either of those in the first place. And the books are so big that if you want to keep them in any kind of good condition, you have to really work to not like fold increase them. And even then, you're probably going to do it a little because they're just that large, which is unfortunate. But what can you do? I mean, I'm not one to what would I say, to collect over build, I guess is what they say. Some people collect, which is there's something wrong with just collecting items and keeping them in the box if that's what you like. But I'd rather have the item built or the Lego built anyway, and that way can make the best of things. Get a nice display piece. 1 second. All right, so I'm back. I need to find a way to deal with like just talking all the time. I wonder how some people do it because they'll go for hours. They seem perfectly fine, but my voice is getting raspy after just, I don't know. I feel like I haven't been on that long. Um, oh, it's only been 30 minutes. So, I mean, it does feel a bit weird because I'm talking to essentially no one. Oof, put this on wrong. See, there's that little gap right there. Shouldn't happen. Here we go. Should have brought one of my Lego separators. They don't give them to you in the little sets, but if you ever build one of the big sets, like every larger set, or not even that large, any medium size set and up will come with a Lego separator. So, like, at first it's like, oh, I got this. And then afterwards you're like, okay, another separator, and another separator, and another separator. Then you have like hundreds of separators. Which, I mean, of course, Lego can't stop giving separators with every set because just because you have one or like someone like me has it who builds like, you know, dozens or hundreds, I don't know, a ton of Lego sets has a bunch, doesn't mean every person has a bunch of them. So, you just have to consider what everybody else is dealing with. Although, I guess what I should warn people against is sometimes I see Lego separators for sale, and they'll be like, "Oh, we're selling X amount of Lego separators." Like a few, they'll be selling dozens of Lego separators, and the price will be really high, which I've never understood. Like separators should be pretty cheap. They're an item you get with every Lego set, and I mean, I have seen people build with just the separators, so I mean, you can do it, but my personal opinion, I feel like the price is overinflated, but maybe I'm just a little cheap. Maybe the price for things is not a lot at all. I don't know. Maybe someone can tell me what they think. I think that's right. There you go. So far, I mean, see, turn it around. We have this little rod here. Okay, let's set that aside. They're very simple colors. You know, I don't have any of the Lego train sets. Kind of a shame, but the thing about them is they take up a lot of real estate inside your house. So, I mean, and if I had had any as a kid, I'm sure it would have been one of those things where you set up and then you have to break it down all the time, which I guess you'd only have to break down the track all the time, but still, it's not something I really want to do. I like to build like permanent or semi-permanent installations in my house. Yes, our installations are just okay. These go on like that. So if I ever have the money to buy like a really big house, sure I'll build the train sets because I've always kind of wanted maybe not Lego train sets, but like a train set that goes around the house, a massive one. And I'm sure that takes forever to build and the cost is really up there. See, there we go. Little train, little train. Do the train thing, man. I'm a little train. So now I'm definitely going to get sued for copyright infringement for that song. Anyway, I think I like this the most out of the ones I've built so far. Pretty simple, but cool. Get rid of the extra pieces. This up. Even though I don't save the poly bags, I just don't see the point in that part. I'm always saving the instructions for these, just in case they need to be rebuilt. And then, even though I'm more a builder than a collector, I feel like I'm still a bit of a collector. Hmm. This, that, that, this. Ah, the, the train was set 30575. Oh, and here comes an interesting one. Miniature Imperial Shuttle. So I do remember this one came out around May the 4th. You know, everybody always has that one. And you had to buy, I think, like $80 or $90 worth of Star Wars items. So I actually remember what I bought to get this one. Oh, and it comes with two bags. So there is a separate bag for this one because we're getting up there in pieces. 85 pieces for it. But I remember buying. Maybe I don't remember everything. I feel like there's something smaller, but I bought the new X-wing and Tie fighter that they had out. At least during this time, they were new. They were like smaller ones. Instead of being like $90, they were like $40 or so. Let's see. Imperial Shuttle. So usually, if the bags aren't numbered, you might have to open up both bags anyway. So I'm not quite sure why they make separate bags, but let's see how far I can get without opening up this bag. Okay. Yeah. Star Wars sets are interesting because they can have a lot going on, but they're not, most of them aren't colorful. So, see a lot of white and a lot of gray, and that's like Star Wars gray. I mean, I, I guess I should say that's literally Star Wars gray. No, it's wrong because so there used to be a different color of gray that existed in Lego, and they discontinued it because they wanted a certain color for Star Wars sets. And you may ask yourself, why in the world would you need to discontinue one color just to produce another color? And Lego like limits how many different things that they produce at once. And I guess it's a cost thing. So to my understanding, back around the late 90s, early 2000s, Lego's doing a bunch of what they call one-off pieces. Like they'd create a piece that just went into one set, or yeah, pretty much that. And so those one-off pieces, they needed a special mold or some machine for it, and that got really costly, and it almost bankrupted Lego. So that was like would have been unfortunate for people like myself who like to build Lego sets if they had gone bankrupt from doing these one-off pieces. And the thing is, oh, time to open up this little bag. Those one-off pieces led to some really interesting sets, you know. But I mean, and there are a lot of people that like some of the more, I guess what would you call it, dynamic range of the time for those sets. Like they just hate a lot of aspects of the current sets. But I mean, you have to be appreciative that Lego had to do the changes. Like they had to make the brand deals for everything so they could survive as a company. I don't think you can fault them too much for that. That looks like that piece. I like here. I like here. Yeah. Lego. This shuttle is coming along just fine. I feel like I'm missing things. There we go. Need one more of those. I think it's kind of clear now that we're getting up to that's more than 80, like 85. It's not impossible to track, but when all this pieces are like the same color, you see like all this field of white. I really need to start organizing them if I'm going to go on to a larger set. But I think this might be my last set of the day. I know I wasn't on too long, but it's kind of hard to talk, and this way I can go back and look at it and see anything that I could improve or, change it up a bit, maybe work on lighting and everything. Just produce a better quality video for people to watch. And, if I go on for like 2 hours, that's a lot for me to rewatch and take notes on and figure out what I can fix. So yeah, I'll just make it kind of short for my first time. Maybe short a lot of times since this is just something that I kind of want to do for fun. Look at this. Oh, I see what happened. Yeah, this is just something to do for fun. Need to oh, need to think about the way that I'll have the most fun and that other people can have the most fun. So I feel like with the Legos, you're not having fun. Not quite sure what you're doing it for. Although I guess to be fair, some people do it competitively and they are quite good. Like they have that Lego Masters reality contest show. And while there is some, you know, I guess judging will always be subjective in the first place. So, and like the personality and production of it could differ greatly with all reality shows, but not so bad. They don't focus on like over drama and petty feuds and stuff like that, which is nice. So, I mean, and Lego Masters is a nice place to get introduced to some of like the more advanced building techniques because I mean, right now you're seeing a set being built, and some of these building techniques are utilized in here, but maybe you don't really notice them. Like, so if you were like, oh, I use snot building or interlocking bricks or something, you might kind of not know what those are. Lego Masters is a good way to get introduced to that this is how you want to build, especially if you're one of those people that want to build their own sets, like they want to do MOCs. Which does the MOC stand for? I always just call it mock, but let me look it up real quick. My own creation. That's very straightforward. Yeah, if you want to do MOCs, like you should, you'll want to learn some of those advanced building techniques, and then after that, just start building because maybe it won't be so great on your first try, but you'll slowly learn, get an idea, and like create your own style, your own art. And there's no harm in looking at what other people are doing and kind of getting started or ideas from that. I feel like that's how a lot of people start out, and then you can make your own creations from that. Do 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 do. Little Imperial March kind of makes me want to. I've all right. I guess you can hear me, but you can't really hear the blower or what is this called? Leaf blowers going out on the background. Let's see. So we got the two wings on. Now we're building the spine there. White one. Piece. Little piece. All right. Then we get the big one here. Big one. Then, like, here's an example, kind of like an interlock where piece goes over where the two pieces break. So add a little bit of strength. But usually when they're talking about interlocking, it's a large interlock with like dozens of interconnecting pieces. Like that right here. Looks like just one is over on the side. Of course, something is not right because these are way too many large pieces left over. Pieces aren't used. Oh. This is really okay. So, missed putting on the thrusters. No, I missed. So I'll put these on the bottom part. All right, so these are pieces. There's definitely are not extras. So the oof, this entire part needs to come up. So this is an example of where I wasn't paying enough attention to what I was doing. Skipped a bunch of steps, a lot, and the build kind of a little weird and of course very, very short about it. Like let's see. Case. Probably extra. That's probably extra. The extra. All these are probably extra. This is not extra. This is where this should go. There. See. Like this shouldn't be extra. Nope. It's extra. Then see if we can focus on that better. I mean, it's a nice little build. I think they should have used more gray pieces instead of all these white pieces. That this little fin is a little large. Otherwise, not really that bad. And for a free little set, it's nice. Of course, some people may say, well, if you had to spend X amount of money, it wasn't really free. But as long as you were going to spend that money anyway, it was free for you. So this one was set 30388. And let's just bring out all the sets that I built today. Here we go. Duck and an egg. City helicopter. Aerial shuttle. Lloyd on his quad bike. And the train. Well, hard to rate these sets against each other. I feel like maybe this one will be the most interesting to play with. You know, as Lloyd, he's a little ninja. Of course, it rolls around, so especially if you're a kid, you can roll those around. Train looks really nice though. It has very clean lines, and even though there's very few pieces in it, it's like an easy, good train. Don't you guys think? I mean, there we go. So anyway, thank everyone for watching, if anyone watches, and you guys have a good day.